Hello everyone, this is the Sports Spiral, and today I'm going to review week 2 of college football and preview week 3 of college football, which is actually it's kind of starting today. This video is coming out a little late because I've been busy, but I'm just going to get right into the review. The game of the week was probably Oregon over Ohio State. This was a big upset. Ohio State's defense couldn't manage to win this one, and Oregon won this 35-28. Brown for Oregon was good, 17 of 35 for 236 and 2 touchdowns. Vordell had an excellent game, 20 carries for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. And for Ohio State, Stroud looked good again, 35 of 50 for 484 and 3 touchdowns and an interception. So he had looked great, but their defense has not. So yeah, Ohio State, I think they can still maybe make a push for the playoff. They would have to win every single game, get in the conference championship, and win that as well. So it's a tall task for Ohio State. Oregon, now, they're now the 4th-ranked team, but I just feel like the Pac-12 always sets up a chance with some kind of big upset, and then they lose to a conference opponent and kind of beat themselves up. That's just the definition of the Pac-12 for me, so I do not think Oregon will make it to the playoff at this point, but who knows, maybe the Pac-12 will change for once. Then we had Florida over USF, 42-20. It was a pretty easy win. Richardson was actually the leading passer for Florida, even though he only threw 3 passes. He was 3 of 3 for 152 and 2 touchdowns. He was also the leading rusher with 4 carries, 115 yards and a touchdown. And then for USF, Fortin was the leading passer, 12 of 18 for 91 yards and an interception. Now, 20 points might seem like a lot of points allowed to a pro-USF team, but it mostly came from interceptions from Emory Jones. Emory Jones has already thrown 4 or 5 interceptions, so they still want to start him versus Alabama this week, but I do not think he will play well at all versus Alabama. Then next up we had what could have been an upset, but Notre Dame was able to hang on in this one to beat Toledo 32-29. So they have won their games only by a combined 6 points, 3 versus FSU and 3 versus Tulane. So yeah, Notre Dame's defense hasn't looked the best. Bradley for Toledo, he was 18 of 28 for 221 yards and a touchdown, and they allowed 114 yards to running back Koback. And then for Notre Dame, Cone, he was pretty good. Okay, I guess. He was 21 of 33 for 239, 2 touchdowns and an interception, while Williams had 16 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. And with this 3-point win, Notre Dame dropped a whole 4 spots. So Notre Dame's not looking like a very good team this year. And then we had a low-scoring game, Texas A&M 10, Colorado 7, and Haynes Keene got injured in this one, so he will not be playing for, I think, the rest of the season. Calvada was the new quarterback for Texas A&M. He was 18 of 38 for 183 and a touchdown. And then for Colorado, Lewis was 13 of 25 for 89 yards and an interception in this low-scoring game. I don't think Texas A&M had to try the playoff now that they only won that one by 3 and lost their starting quarterback, so things are not looking good for Texas A&M. The next one is Georgia's rout over UAB 56-7. Bennett was great for Georgia, 10 of 12 for 288 and 5 touchdowns. He replaced an injured or more banged up JT Daniels. and Georgia's defense played great once again. Johnston for UAB, he was 6 of 14 for 39 yards and 3 interceptions. So, yep, Georgia's looking like a really good team. They've got a good backup quarterback. And so, yeah, Georgia demolished UAB in that one. And then next up, we had Alabama over Marshall. They were just handling business in this one, 48-14. Young was 19 of 27 for 227 and 3 touchdowns. Robinson, 10 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. And Alabama handled Marshall in this one. And they will take on Florida this week. Then next up, we had Iowa versus Iowa State, and Iowa was able to handle the Cyclones here. The Cyclones really haven't looked the best this season. Purdy, 13 of 27 for 138 and 3 interceptions. I know Iowa's defense is good, but Iowa State has not been the best. And then Iowa Petrus, he was 11 of 21 for 106 and a touchdown. So Iowa, their defense is always by their trademark and still looks like that. Maybe they have a shot at the playoff, but I do not think they will be the best team in the Big Ten. Then next up, we had the Miami versus App State game, and Miami was just able to squeak this one, 25-23. So yeah, maybe Alabama's not that good and Miami's just a bad team, but I think Alabama is a really good team this year. The headline of this game is the cat. There's a cat hanging from a flag or a banner, and yeah, he fell, but people caught him. It's pretty funny. But yeah, Miami wins this one. Keene was 20 of 33 for 200. Bryce for App State was 21 of 34 for 199, a touchdown and an interception. So Miami not looking like a great team this year, but we'll see if they can make a run. I do not think they will be able to. Next up, Oklahoma just handled business versus West Carolina. I'm not going to talk about this one. It was an absolute blowout, 76-0. Oklahoma, they haven't looked the best. They didn't look very good the first week, but they looked much better here versus West Carolina. Then we had an upset. This was Arkansas over Texas, 40-21, and this showed just how good the SEC is. And with Arkansas, which is not one of the better teams in the SEC. They're okay, but they beat Texas here, and now they're ranked, so I guess they are pretty good. So a 40-21 win there for Arkansas over Texas. Then next up we had Michigan versus Washington State, or just Washington, and Michigan blew out Washington here 31-10. So yeah, Michigan, I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they just played poor opponents. McNamara, he was 7 of 15 for 44. Corum, though, was really good for Michigan. He carried the ball 21 times for 171 and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, a blowout there in that one. And then BYU was able to upset Utah 26-17. So they were looking like a pretty good team. Hall was 18 of 30 for 149 and 3 touchdowns. And then Stanford upset USC, and Helton was fired after this loss. So yeah, USC, they've looked good at times, but they could never get things up to playoff standards or anything like that. So a 42-28 upset win for Stanford. And then another upset, Jacksonville State over FSU. This was a big upset considering how FSU hung with Notre Dame in the first game. So yeah, FSU loses to an FCS opponent there. And then Virginia blew out Illinois 42-14. And then you had Pittsburgh over Tennessee, 41-34. So Tennessee, they're trying to rebuild, but not quite up to a ranked standard yet. Then you had another game that showed the superiority of the SEC. Mississippi State 24, NC State 10. And then two SEC teams with Kentucky 35, Missouri 28. I knew I blew past some of those final games, but I want to get into the picks. My week 2 record was 11-5. That was the exact same as my week 1 record. So my season record, it's now 22-10. I'm doing okay so far. We'll see how I end up at the end of the season. So then let's just get right into the picks. We have Florida versus Alabama, and yeah, Florida, a tale of two quarterbacks. Emory Jones has not looked good. Richardson had, although Richardson had gone against some not the greatest opponents. And going against Alabama, I don't think he'll be able to do very good. He doesn't have much experience. So maybe Jones will look like the better quarterback in this one, but I don't think it'll be the best effort from Florida. I've got a blowout in this one. Alabama 45, Florida 24. Alabama's defense has been looking better. Young has looked great. Florida's defense, I think they'll allow a lot of points. They're better than last year, but I don't think they're up to the regular standard of a Florida defense yet. Then we have another featured game. This is Penn State and Auburn. I've got Penn State in this one because of the whiteout, and Auburn doesn't play well on the road with Bo Nix. So yeah, I've got Penn State, Sean Clifford in this one. I think they can get a victory. This should be a great game. I've got Penn State 30, Auburn 27, but we do not know much against Auburn. They've just gone against some low-tier opponents so far. Some of my other picks, I know this game already happened on Friday. I am picking these on Saturday, of course. I've got UCF over Louisville, 41-31. I think UCF gets it done and climbs into the top 25. But I know that game has already happened. I'm acting like it hasn't happened. And then I've got Oklahoma over Nebraska 52-24. So yeah, I think Oklahoma scored a lot of points in this one, but they will allow some points to Nebraska. And then I've got West Virginia upsetting number 15 Virginia Tech 31-27. I just don't think Virginia Tech is that solid of a team. I think West Virginia gets this one done. And then I've got Miami 34, Michigan State 28, but who knows, Miami has not looked the best. I don't think any cats will fall down in this one. We'll see though. And then we have Ohio State. They have not looked the best defensively, but I think they'll get it back together in this one over Tulsa. I've got them 49-7 in that one. And then Georgia going against a conference opponent that it's rebuilding in South Carolina. I think they'll be able to blow them out 38-7. South Carolina just not looking too good right now. And then Oregon just going against Stony Brook. This should be a blowout. I've got Oregon 51-7. And then Texas A&M down their starting quarterback, but I think they still will be able to handle UNM. I've got them 45-10 there. And then Notre Dame going against Purdue. Notre Dame, it's not looked good. I think they could very well lose this game, but I'm going to pick them over Purdue 35-31, although this one could go either way. And then here are some other picks I have. I've got Arizona State over BYU in a matchup of ranked Pac-12 teams. So the BYU's not really a Pac-12 team. They're technically an independent, but they play like a Pac-12 schedule. So I've got Arizona State in that one, 38-31. And then I've got North Carolina over Virginia. And what might be a close game, I've got North Carolina 37, Virginia 28. And then Ole Miss, I think they'll put up a lot of points versus Tulane. Tulane, it's a good team this year, but I think Ole Miss will be able to handle business 52-35. And then Iowa, they were able to beat Iowa State. I don't think they'll have any letdown here going against Kent State. I've got them 44-7. And then Clemson, they have not looked the best. Uyunglele has really not looked the best this season. But I've got Clemson this one 45-10, handling business against Georgia Tech. And then we have UCLA going against Fresno State. Fresno State has been looking pretty good, but I think UCLA gets it done 35-17. But this might be an upset alert. I don't know, just the Pac-12. I feel like they might be tearing themselves apart like they tend to do. Then you have Cincinnati. I've got them beating Indiana in what should be a pretty interesting game. I've got them 31-24. This should be a must-win for Cincinnati, and probably a blowout would look really good for their playoff chances. But yeah, that's it for my Week 2 review and Week 3 preview. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure to subscribe and like. This is the Sports Spiral. Bye.